Hello students. Now we are discussing about control statements. In the previous class we have an overview of control statements. What are the different control statements in C? Now we are going in deep into these control statements. Mainly the control statements are used for specifying the flow of program control. That is, the order in which the instructions in a program must be executed. Okay, that is maintained by this control statements. So control statements maintain the order by which instructions in a program executed. Maybe line by line execution, or there may be some skipping of some steps in the statements of execution. Then maybe a jump has to be done whenever we want to place some other codes in the current place, like that. So control statements enables us to specify the flow of program control. They make it possible to make decisions, to perform tasks repeatedly, or to jump from one section of code to another. Okay, so they make possible to make decisions. So control flow statements, their purposes are, first one, they make it possible to make decisions and to perform tasks repeatedly. Okay, so that is the second one, and to jump from one section of code to another. So these are the purpose of control statements. They will maintain the flow of control in a program. There are different types of control statements. Mainly 3 types of control statements are there in C. In them, decision making and selection statements. So that is the first classification, decision making and selection. That can be considered as 2 parts, decision making statements and selection statements. So as the name implies, decision making statements, what they will do, they will decide some actions or statements to be executed based on a condition or test expression that is happen in the decision making statements. And selection statements means based on a decision, it will, or based on a condition or some expression evaluated, it will select a set of statements to be executed. So that is happening in selection statements. Okay, then next type of control statements we have discussed is iteration or loop statements. Iteration or loop statements. What will be the purpose? Iteration or loop statements means it's for looping. When programmer wants to repeat some set of codes, then we can use this loop statements. And next one is jump statements. Jump statements means, as the name implies, when the program flow has to jump to another location, then we can use this jump statements. Okay. Then first category is decision making and selection statement. This include different statements. So we have to look about decision making statements first. What are the decision making statements? These statements will maintain the flow of program based on a decision. That means they has to take a decision in a step, and based on that some statements has to be executed. So that are known as decision making statements. We can see what are the decision making statements. Mainly if statement, if else statement, nested if statement, else if ladder. All of these are decision making statements. Okay, then first type of statement is if statement. What may be if? It will check whether or if a condition is true, it will execute a set of statements. Then otherwise it execute another set of statement. Okay, that is if statement. The if statement is used to execute some statements when the test expression or condition is true. Okay, as the name implies, if a condition is true, then it executes set of statements. Here the decision has to be taken based on the condition. Here the condition is a Boolean expression. What do you mean by Boolean expression? Boolean expression returns either true or false. Okay, so if the condition evaluates to true, then the block of code inside the if statement will be executed. Okay, so in if statement we have to execute or we have to evaluate a condition. If that condition is true, then we have to execute the statements inside the if statement. Okay, otherwise if the condition evaluates to false, then it does not execute the statements inside if statement. Okay, so the control will go out of if statement. That is happening in the if statement. You know, the syntax for if statement, we can see that here this is the syntax of if statement. So here you can see if condition, then in curly braces we can give the statement. If there is only single line of statement, then we can exclude this curly bracket. If multiple statements are there, then we must include this curly braces here. So this is the if statement syntax, that is if in parentheses or brackets we have to give the condition, then bracket closing, then curly braces, then give the statements to be executed. So here the condition is evaluated, and if it is true, then this statement will be executed. Okay, if it is true, then executed the statements. If it is false, then not going to this block. If it is false, then it will go, the control will go outside of the loop, that is here. If there are some statements here, then execute that. That is happening in if statement. So condition evaluates. If it is true, then statements inside if statement will be executed. Otherwise this statement not executes and it will go out of the if statement. So we can see the flowchart representation. Here you can see the condition. Okay, if the condition true, then it execute the statement, then go to the rest of the code. Otherwise, if the condition is false, it does not go to here, it directly go to the rest of the code. That is happening in the if statement. Clear? This is the syntax and flowchart representation of if statement. So it will execute the statement inside if statement if the condition evaluates to true. Okay. Then we can see an example for if statement. Even number, that is, this is a program for checking whether a given number is even. Okay, even. So first we have to do what? First we have to hash include stdio.h, then void main. In main function, first we are performing int a. Okay, int a, that is we are declaring the variable a. Then we are reading a, that is by placing enter a number, then scanf %d ampersand a. Then if a %2 equal to 0, that is, this is the condition given. Okay, condition is what? A %2 equal to 0, that is when we are dividing a by 2, whether the remainder is 0 or not. When we are dividing a by 2, that is modulo division, means the remainder of division of a by 2. When it is 0, then if the condition is true, then we have to enter this statements. So we have to get the output like the number is even. Okay, you know, /n is used for going to the next line. So what is the structure of this if statement? First we read a value, then if a %2 equal to 0, this is the condition, and if the condition is true, then it goes to the inside block of if statement, then statements inside this if will be executed, that is the number is even will be printed. Okay, so what will be the output of this program? When we are entering a as 10, then it will check 10 %2 equal to 0 or no. Then it will check that if it is 0, we know that 10 percentage 2 equal to 0. That's already 2. So its value will be printed like, the output will be like the number is even. That will be the output. So here we can see the output will be like this. First enter a number will be displayed on the screen, then we are entering 10, then the output will be number is even. Okay, so that is an example for if statement. If you are entering 9 here, then what happened? If you are entering 9 here, then it will check a percentage 2 equal to 0. Here not true, isn't it? 9 percentage 2 is not 0, so it will does not go here, it will go outside. So when we are inputting 9, then nothing will be printed. Okay, nothing will be printed. That is if statement. Clear? And next we can look about another example, that is in order to check whether a given number is positive or not. Positive or not. Okay, positive, in order to check whether a given number is positive. So first what we have to do? First we have to input a number, scanf percentage d ampersand a. Then if a greater than 0, if a greater than 0, then we have to print like the number is positive. Then what happens? The number readed by this statement, scanf statement, and check whether that number greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, then it will print like number is positive. If it is not greater than 0, it does not print the statement. It will go out of this block. That is happening in the case of checking whether a given number is positive or not. Then we can check the output. Here the output will be enter a number will be displayed on the screen. Then we are enter 10, then it will print the number is positive. So that is the output of if statement. So if we are placing -9 here, then nothing will be printed. That is the difference. Okay, so that's about if else statement. You know the syntax of if else statement is if statement is if condition then statements. So if, then in brackets provide the condition, then in curly braces include the statement inside if the condition is to be true. Okay, here include the statement to be executed when the condition is true. So this is the syntax of if statement. So that is about if statement. Thank you.